April 18, 1955. Albert Einstein is dead. The world mourns the loss of a genius, a man who redefined time, space, and the universe itself. Newspapers around the globe announce the death of the 76-year-old physicist. Scientists, presidents, and philosophers reflect on his legacy. But what they don't know is that something strange is happening behind closed doors. Einstein's body lies cold on a table at Princeton Hospital, but just hours after his death, before his family is notified, a pathologist performs an unsanctioned autopsy. And then he takes Einstein's brain, cuts it into hundreds of pieces, stores them in jars, and disappears. For decades, no one knows where the brain is. This is the untold story of the stolen brain of Albert Einstein. By the early 1950s, Einstein was living a quiet life in Princeton, New Jersey. He declined political appointments, refused to be president of Israel. He was still working, scribbling equations in solitude, but his health was failing. On April 17, 1955, Einstein was rushed to Princeton Hospital. An abdominal aortic aneurysm was tearing inside him, a time bomb in his body. He refused surgery, saying, "It is tasteless to prolong life artificially." The next morning he died, age 76. His last words, spoken in German, to a nurse who didn't understand. The world grieved. But behind closed doors, a 42-year-old pathologist named Dr. Thomas Harvey saw a rare opportunity, an opportunity to study genius. Harvey performed Einstein's autopsy on April 18th, without the family's full approval. During the procedure, he removed the brain. Instead of preserving it whole, he dissected it into 240 blocks and stored them in 2 mason jars filled with formalin. He also removed Einstein's eyes and gave them to the late scientist's optometrist. But here's where things get strange. Harvey wasn't a world-renowned neurologist. He wasn't trained to study genius, and he wasn't authorized to keep the brain. When the Einstein family found out, they were furious. Einstein's son, Hans Albert, did not approve the removal. But Harvey convinced him, and the media, that he preserve it for science. So instead of handing it over to research institutions, he took it home. He kept Einstein's brain in a box, in his basement. For years, he lost his job, got divorced, and yet he still had Einstein's brain. For decades, Einstein's brain was a ghost. Harvey moved across states, Kansas, Missouri, finally back to New Jersey, always carrying the jars with him. Occasionally, he'd send slivers of brain tissue to scientists, promising breakthroughs. But the results, inconclusive. No one could prove what made Einstein's brain different. In 1985, 30 years later, Harvey co-authored a paper claiming Einstein had more glial cells in some regions of the brain. The media erupted, but neurologists were skeptical. Too small a sample, too biased a study. Then, in the 1990s, a young journalist named Michael Paterniti tracked Harvey down. What he found was surreal. Harvey, now elderly, was still storing Einstein's brain in a Tupperware container, in a cardboard box, in the trunk of his car. The journalist convinced Harvey to take a road trip, driving across America with Einstein's brain in the back seat. The story became a best-selling book, Driving Mr. Albert. Eventually, pieces of the brain were donated to museums. Some are now on display at the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia and the National Museum of Health and Medicine. Einstein never wanted to be worshipped. He even said, "I want to be cremated, so people don't come and worship my bones." But in death, his body was dissected, his brain pickled, his eyes kept in a safe deposit box. Was it all in the name of science? Or was it the theft of genius? To this day, no study has definitively shown why Einstein was so brilliant. Was it his brain, his upbringing, his obsession with imagination? Maybe the greatest mystery is that we still think genius can be measured in jars. If this story of Einstein's stolen brain intrigued you, hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment. What do you think makes a genius? More mysteries, more lost history, only here on Untold History.